So then, Doctor wakes up, so that's all good. Actually,
then it gets captured again.
Yeah. But again, they wrote it purposely like that so that the Doctor wasn't in it much, and like Ben was kind of a fixer. So then it's all the radiation, and I like it how they're just playing for time, and they kind of got a checkmate in the radiation room, where it's like they figured it out, and it's nice because the Doctor's just standing there like watching, just seeing Ben work it out. I really like that.
Yeah.
And
Polly also being captured there.
Yeah.
As well, in the ship.
So then they come out. And then they kind of eventually they run out of time, and then one desk crumbles to pieces.
No, one thing I'll say about that scene is that there's no sound effects.
Yeah,
that
completely
I think
silent.
that does kind of.
It makes it more effective. Really?
Yeah, I think. Well, because the pure kind of silence of it. Well, no, they had like talking over it.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh yeah, they were going. Oh, it's breaking up. Like, yes, we can see that. Thank you.
Yeah, they're saying that, and then science could have worked. I don't think.
I think it needed to be a very sad, not many notes, like a kind of small kind of...
Yeah, some sort of music would have helped. Either have sound effects or have music. Not neither. It didn't really work.
I think they were trying to do for morbid silence, like death. Because, I mean, think of all the thousands and millions of Cybermen on that planet. Because if it's as big as... Say it was as big as the human population now. That's 7 billion Cybermen.
It's true.
That's a lot of death.
They don't really bring up that point as much in the episode itself.
It's a shame.
If that was really what they were going for, I think they would have mentioned that.
Yeah,
because
they should have.
The entire episode, they were going, "Oh yes, we just wait. You'll destroy Mondos. It's fine." They didn't really take into account that. So I'd assume that with the way they were kind of building it up and the way they presented the explosion, that you would have like sound effects for that, like a massive boom as the planet exploded. Something.
See, what I really want to see mainly, the one. Obviously the regeneration, but we have a lot of that on like clips afterwards. We actually have a lot of like the regeneration recorded, so I'm not too bothered about that because William Hartnell's scenes, most of them are actually there. We've got those far from being all over. Oh yeah, that's actually the clip when he runs up to the camera. Like they've made that perfectly. That is one which looks like fake, but that is actually what happened with the camera.
And that I actually really kind of like that because
the
Doctor comes out of it and he's kind of you can see he's kind of like, lost it.
He's like, "Wake up, Doctor!" He's like, "What did you say, my boy? It's over. It's far from being all over." And it's
the fact that Ben and Polly were kind of weird. That is very much understandable.
Yeah, and then like they give him the coat and he goes in the TARDIS. But one thing I really want to see in like if we ever found the episode again. Is when the Cybermen melt, like what happened in the 2.
That was a really good effect.
Because they really did well in the animation.
Yeah.
I just want to see how they did it in real life. Did it look as good? And I think they might have the one which was standing up and then kind of just collapsed on itself. I think that was fake. But the other ones, we might never know, but it's a shame. But I mean, just from like thinking back, we barely said anything negative about this story. I mean, it's just
there's a few things.
There's a few things, but are they big things?
Not
because the story flows so well. I mean,
the only one I don't think I've mentioned. Well, there's actually one. There's one little bit close name, but it's mine. But the other thing is that bothered me a little bit throughout the episode is that the mouths of the Cybermen weren't always synced.
Oh yeah.
They closed them sometimes before they were supposed to, and
but that's like a small nitpick, really, rather
and
than
also
a large thing.
Like at one point, there was this odd scene where the Cyberman is trying to interview people because he had this like little microphone thing. And he asked them like questions.
Oh yeah, like kind of recording.
That was bizarre.
It is odd, yeah, but. They didn't know what they were doing with the Cybermen back then, first story. No, you don't know, they might have been recording it for archives on one desk to, then use.
Yeah, but it still doesn't make it any more strange.
But yeah, it's odd.
Mostly this is a fantastic story.
Oh yeah, definitely. I just love it.
Okay, shall we cover the regeneration now?
Yeah. We'll cover the regeneration. So this is...
So, one issue which I had with it was the fact that he was at the control panels and then next with Ben and Polly locked outside. Cut, Doctor's on the floor, Ben and Polly suddenly inside the TARDIS.
Yeah, he flicks a button or something. he eventually lets them out. It's something like, so it's all duh, and he flicks a button which I think unlocks the doors. It doesn't open the doors, it unlocks them, which then lets them in. When they've been coming in, like as he was falling down, what I think of it is as he's collapsing, he flicks the button and he falls down, and then they come in. Now originally, this is why it's such a weird cut, they were running out of time, and originally the Doctor's last line was no, I simply will not give in. That was supposed to be his last line, like, you know, going out fighting, but they ran out of time. So and they wanted to make sure that the regeneration looked as good as possible, which back then it looks brilliant, you know.
It does.
I think it's a bit too close into the face. I think they should have shown a bit more hair.
To be honest, like, because it kind of hides.
Yeah, and it would have been harder to get. The closer in, it's easier to match up the faces.
It is.
But yeah. So I mean,
it's kind of streamless. Like, you don't really notice the faces change.
Yeah, I know. It's eyebrows where you see most of the change and a bit of the nose. But I'm always looking at the eyebrows. I mean, on the animation, it's far more clear. But if you actually look at the real one, it's a lot harder.
Yeah, no, it's. You don't entirely notice the change until, oh shoot, he's changed, like, as soon as the thing is finished.
Definitely. So, the good. 3 good points.
Good. Ooh.
So many to choose from.
There is quite a lot. Cybermen in general, like, they're really effective, really...
Yeah. Cybermen are the best thing about this story.
Yeah,
best
they're
thing.
Great. I would say the location as a whole, like, well, actually... Yeah,
like the sets and
South Pole and all that, and Cutler, because like it really is a great character. So she was on a bit longer, actually, to be honest.
Yeah,
been interesting to see what he did throughout part 4.
It would have been nice if he'd like been a bit more, but I think it was at the point where they had to remove him to just get to the end. Okay, so good Cybermen. Best thing about this story, I mean. For fans like who go back and go, I want to see the first Cyberman story, it totally lives up.
Yeah.
While the Daleks, if you're not patient, it's a lot harder to get your teeth into, and younger fans might find it harder. But if you decide to show your young kids, you know, some old Doctor Who, and they want to see Cybermen, 10th Planet or Tomb are the ones to do.
So my little sister managed to, I think, marathon the entirety of the Daleks.
I marathoned it, to be fair, but then she went in wanting to watch it. But if you're trying to get someone into Doctor Who, 10th Planet is a good one, but the animation might throw them off, so maybe start with Tomb and then go back. Because, I mean, history doesn't matter too much in them. But, yes, so, Cybermen, I'm going to go a bit different and go Michael Craze. Absolutely fantastic as Ben. I mean, when he had to take on a load of new lines for episode 3, because, you know, William Hartnell fell ill. So, Jerry Davies, the reason he's only kind of given credit in episodes 3 and 4 is because he was the one who jiggered it about to, like, change lines, get the Doctor in bed. So you can see some of the lines, if you look carefully, there's one really clear one where you can definitely tell that was the first Doctor's line. But, you know, he's brilliant in that, and he really shines. And I just say Annika Willis with that as well, because she does well, but she doesn't have as many like major scenes. Ben is more the kind of the star of this one. And I just say the story in general is kind of different to what we've seen before. You know, different planet, that's exciting. You know, robot men. We've never, looking back, we never really had proper like robotic men who used to be humans. And it's just. And for its time as well, that is what's most impressive about the story. For in the 60s, you know, and thinking that far out of the box. Okay, bad things.
Bad things.
Try 2. If you can get to 3, congratulations.
I think I can. I have some. So the Cyberman's interview is really a very out of place and kind of odd thing, which is held on for like a couple of minutes, I think. So it's kind of I'd say the part 2 cliffhanger didn't work. I mean, I did kind of say this be on this a bit before, but the lack of anything for the Mondo's destruction, you would have thought they would have had something there. It does kind of not make the scene as effective as I think it could have been.
Yeah.
So either make it a sad moment where lots of people are dying, or a moment where, oh my goodness, this thing's exploding, like with
maybe it should have just had the Sideman theme, like dum, dum, like with the timpani, dun dun dun, just like the theme there.
Something. I mean, well, I'm not sure how effective that would have been either.
I mean, I don't think it would have fit really.
No.
But anyway, so I'd say one bad thing is the weird cuts. There's some really weird cuts at some points. Really odd places, like kind of like you feel like the conversation's going to continue. Nope, cut. I think it happens like 2 or 3 times, but like you can really notice them. One of is when they're in the spaceship, which you'll definitely notice that one. 2 bad things. Kind of Avengers Assemble-esque. Mothership explodes, everybody else dies. But I mean, they had to defeat the Cybermen somehow, and they had to fit it in that final episode.
World.
And to be honest, this was way before that became cliche that you killed the mothership and it killed them all.
Yeah.
So it's but like watching it now, it's kind of like, oh, is that it? Okay. And I would say, God, it's really hard to think. I guess the radiation curves are just really ridiculous, really. I mean, that is kind of really, really silly. I can't really. There's just nothing else. Nothing like I can really sink my teeth into and go, oh, this sucked part. This part was right. I mean, the interview was a bit silly, but they might have had reasons behind it. But I agree, it is a bit out of place, and it is. Maybe they should have had a line explaining why they were doing it.
Yeah. Something.
But yeah, so the nerdy. So of course, William Hartnell fell ill on. He sent in what were they? Fax or whatever, something in. Telegram, that's it. Sent a telegram about saying he was too ill to do the filming for episode 3. It was just before it started, so they had a bit of time. So then Ben overtook one of those lines, and that is why Jerry Davies is kind of credited. Originally, now it's canon that he died of old age, but originally what they were trying to get across was that it was actually the energy drain from Mondas affected the Doctor, and that was what made him regenerate. And that's why it was kind of like, that's why he was getting tired and collapsed the closer Mondas came, and then he got up to fight at the very end, but it was just too much. So that's what they were trying to get across, but it was because he was time, so I kind of like it was that he was dying of old age,
I think, if I remember right, in the Daleks' Mars Planet at the end with the he got AIDS there as well.
Yeah.
So I think it was.
It kind of connects. It connects nicely.
Yeah.
Anyway,
there isn't actually a lot on here.
Okay.
I would say the fact that this is apparently the only episode to give the Cybermen individual names, because one is called Krang and Zal and stuff, which afterwards are only named by the ranks.
Yeah, it's like you barely notice them calling each other's names, so they barely use it. So in the audio adventure with the 5th Doctor, we see Mondas before the invasion and the run up to the 10th planet. So that's kind of like the genesis of the Cybermen, but I wouldn't mind an on-screen appearance and just kind of. I mean, it's a good audio from. I've heard snippets of it, and it sounds good from so far. And I mean, it's got the classic singing voice, so I mean, it's nice. But so the 6th Doctor story, Attack of the Cybermen, is the Cybermen trying to stop Mondas being destroyed in this story.
Yeah. That's
basically the entire story of that. And episode 4 of this story is obviously missing, hence why it's animated on the DVD, or telesnapped if you've got the VHS, which will be kind of odd if you're in this day and age and have a VHS. Is your only option. And basically episode 4 is the most sought after missing episode. It's what people have always said, if I wanted to find one. If you were only one episode, a lot of people say episode 4 of the 10th Planet. To be honest, I would say I would either go with that, or I'd go maybe one of the evil ones, or Power of the Daleks. But I mean, we're getting Power of the Daleks animated now, so it's all good. But I would be tempted to go part 4 just to complete this story and have that done. Or maybe like Marco Polo, one of those, because that'd be cool. But only because we got that animated. If we didn't have any of the animation and people like choose one episode, only one 25-minute thing, I would probably go 10th Planet. Or episode 1 of Power of the Daleks, just to have after the regeneration.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, But then in the 90s, somebody had a hoax and was saying that they owned it on VHS, and they didn't own it, they recorded it on VHS, and they were going to say they like £500 they wanted, or some ridiculous amount. And then that VHS there, they had two kind of introductions. They had one where Michael Craze introduced the story as a whole, and one where he introduced it with the like recreation at the end. And so that's
just in case.
In case. But it turned out they sent like a VHS and it was just empty, just blank. They didn't pay for it, but I was like, what an asshole to do that. Like, who does that? Who steals episode 3 of A Weather Fear? I just don't get that. People. But this is a conversation for another podcast about missing episodes. So conclusion.
So this episode, in so many ways, is fantastic, and it's like really does feel like an end of an era. It does feel like something which progresses into the next stage of Doctor Who. Sidemen are great and really effective. The acting here is of high standards, and the companions get a lot of screen time. Unfortunately, not so much the Doctor, but that's for very understandable reasons. I mean, like for the most part, it's the setting is amazing, and there's just so many really good moments. However, due to the fact that there's a couple of odd moments and a couple of issues here and there, not much, but just enough to where I'll say it's a 9 out of 10 for me, but just barely, like it's teetering. But I'm very stingy. I am very stingy when it comes to giving up anything higher. But it's a fantastic story. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. My conclusion. Nick's conclusion. The conclusiano of the final of a batch 1. Okay. The 10th Planet is one of those legendary Doctor Who stories that any fan has seen or at least knows of. Being the first appearance of the Cybermen and the first ever regeneration, there is a lot to live up to for fans, and let me tell you, it pays off. With a very different type of location pulled off brilliantly, it sets the story off nicely. With lots of different characters, this story could have easily been a mess, but somehow it manages to make us care about the deaths and understands everyone's opinion. For example, we can understand Cutler wanting to do anything to save his son, but then we also understand Polly's argument about one life over thousands with the nuclear bomb, going towards Mondash, and it might affect Earth, it's 1 over thousands. And you see both sides, you understand it. If you're a young kid, you want to, save it. The Cybermen are chilling, cold, and logical, and I love them. The human hands add that extra touch of the design, which I kind of really want to return. If any kind of type of design was going to return in New Who for like an appearance, I'd want either Tomb or I'd want the 10th Planet, because they are the most creepiest. I mean, Moonbase is kind of in between, but I think Tomb's a bit better. It's kind of been more kind of perfected in that time between Moonbase and Tomb. Annika Willis and Michael Craze shown as Ben and Polly. Mainly Michael, as he gets the limelight due to Hartnell's illness and taking most of his lines. Hartnell is great for what we see of him, especially when he reappears in episode 4. It's like, let's wake up the Doctor, and he just appears. It's like kind of a powerful moment, really. The regeneration isn't a massive plot point, which it is nowadays. It's like, the Doctor's regenerated. It was just at the end. At the end. Nice little add-on, and like they do that in other stories, like Planet of the Spiders. In all these stories, the Doctor could die in the classics a lot.
I think in the Planet of the Spiders, it's a little bit more of a big deal.
Bit more, but that's because it's happened before. But like War Games, it just the last episode. But you don't realise that he's going to change. It could have ended, like the series could have ended there. But anyway, so So William Hartnell's great. And it's not a massive pop point like it is nowadays. It's just Hartnell, even though he's ill, he gives it his all, really. You can hear in episode 4 that he gives it his all. And you can kind of tell he's kind of gutted as leaving. Like, you can kind of, it's far from being all. You just kind of, you feel all the stuff behind it. Yeah. And, like, when you watch The Adventure of Space and Time, like, it's so well. Mark Gage just smashed that. I think that's kind of the best thing out of the 50th, really. I love Adventure in Space and Time. Absolutely fantastic. Anyway, the animation is fantastic. Thank you so much, Planet 55 Studios. And I'm so happy with them. And, what they've done for our fandom, I really do kind of... It's nice that the BBC kind of care about us enough to put out this. They could easily just save them money. But they go out their way to do this. I'm generally really finding it hard to find problems with this. And that's why I have to give 10 out of 10. I know it's the second one this batch with Mind Robber, but I love Black and White Doctor Who, and I watched this story 2 days ago, and I'd happily watch this story again. Just talking about it right now has made me exciting. This story is exciting, it's fan-pleasing, and Doctor Who doing sci-fi at its best. And episode 1 cliffhanger, one to remember. Like, that's like just everything about this story I love, and I could watch it again right now. So, thank you very much for listening to our 10th Planet podcast. Tell us below what you think of this story, if maybe you think we're overrating it, or maybe you agree with us. Tell us what you love about it. Tell us if you'd want the old Simon to appear. Just tell us what you think.
Tell us anything. Tell us about what kind of shopping you did this week.
Maybe you
just talk to us because we're so lonely.
Yes, exactly. But tell us what you think of the Fifth Doctor, the spare parts. Tell us about Cybermen, how you'd bring them back if you were going to bring them back to the series. Tell us interesting stuff, and we will read them, and we might respond if we have time.
Maybe.
But it would be really nice, to let you be part of a community. So thank you so much for listening. And now we have kind of more of an announcement. So this is the final one of this batch of podcast reviews. We don't know how many people are going to be watching at this point, because we've kind of recorded all these.
For all we know, we could have two people, which are.
But it doesn't matter.
Both of which are Hector.
Yes, thank you, Hector. Shout out to Hector. But if you have followed us, or if you're just joining us, thank you very much for listening to us. It means a lot to us. We're putting a lot of effort into these with thumbnails, everything. But we're just doing it for fun as well. And with you kind of responding and saying your own opinions below, it really kind of brings community feel. Makes the Doctor Who fandom feel so much bigger. You've got your family all below in the comments section. That's all you guys, and you make it worthwhile if you definitely comment.
But we don't know you yet.
We don't know you yet, but it doesn't matter. We pull together. We did. So thank you. So this is the last one of this first batch. There might be some other ones in between here and the second batch of reviews.
We have. Well, if it is, we've probably already seen them.
Yeah, you've probably seen some. There might be some class-related stuff. This is probably coming out way after class has come out. So you don't know. It's kind of confusing.
Happy Easter, everybody!
Yeah, right now, we're in September. This should be coming out December, November time.
Possibly.
It should be if we work out the weeks properly. So then the second batch shouldn't be too long away from where you are now. I mean, we've got to make them all. But where you are, 4, 5, 6 weeks, maybe 8. But, not too long. Not too long, don't worry. And then the new series is coming up next year, 2017. Mm-hmm. We should have stuff on that, definitely.
At least something.
Some here and there.
Maybe not.
Not full-out reviews, reactions, how we feel at the time, but we need time to rewatch it to give a proper out of 10 mark. We won't give out of 10s or anything.
Usually I just need a night. I only, to be honest, most of the new series episodes I've only watched once.
I like to have a repeat. I like to wait a while and repeat it.
I understand that. But usually, like, I just need a night to kind of think it over and then...
See, I didn't like Under the Lake and Before the Flood before, but I watched it when I got my box set. I watched it, 6 months later. I absolutely adored it. It was great.
I enjoyed it the
first time I didn't like it, but, so that's why I need that time. But anyway, yes. This is the end for now, but the moment has been prepared for. So, subscribe if you like us, and we will have stuff. We will have content soon, so don't feel like this is the end, because we don't want to go. Just slightly on those regeneration lines. But yes, Adric. But that's kind of his last line. It feels different this time. I've got to think of them all. Carrot juice! But, yes. So, subscribe if you want.
Or not, just be one of these Cybermen, wear a cloth head and just not,
Don't follow our instructions, do what you like.
Yeah.
Be a Ben. Be a Ben. Do what you want.
Be a Ben. Be independent and strong and...
A woman.
Pass in the Navy. Yeah, just...
Yep, so, see ya. No! You're making me giddy! As we spin off to make our second season. Bye!
Bye! The Doctor and his new companions Ben and Polly land in the South Pole in the year 1986, where he's taken into a base and then is mistaken by a threat by the hardened General Cutler, in charge of operations there. However, things go wrong quickly, as some mysterious figures are mysteriously murdering the crew.
Okay.
The Doctor and his new companions, Ben and Polly, land in the South Pole in the year 1986, where he is taken into a base and mistaken for a threat by the hardened General Cutler, in charge of operations there. However, things go wrong quickly as some mysterious figures are murdering... Sorry. Okay, start from the second.
Sorry.
My boy.
Live now, I want to show off the synopsis. It's hilarious.
However, things go wrong quickly as some mysterious figures are murdering crew and the entire planet that looks like Earth appears without warning, messing with the gravity and energy levels. I want to redo that.
Yeah,
Hang on. However, things go wrong quickly as some mysterious figures are murdering crew and an entire planet that looks like Earth appears without warning, messing with the gravity and energy levels. How can the world keep its energy? What are these creatures with human hands? And doesn't the Doctor look awfully tired? Let's find the answers in The 10th Planet, written by Kid Pedler and Jerry Davis. Our first
Just do the end bit. Just do the end bit.
Written by Kid Pedler and Jerry Davis. Written by Kid Pedler and Jerry Davis, and was first broadcast on the 8th to the 29th of October 1966.